Damn, I shitted on them like that. That's crazy. Oh my god. Help. They're looking for me. There you go. Nuke. With the PP919. Damn, what I missed? They passed out. We're Master Prestige. Or not Master Prestige. We're 10th Prestige. Almost Master Prestige. And we're cooking. So easy. Yeah, we're going the fuck in. Hold on. There you go. Nice little nuke with the AMES valve. Should have been a double nuke. Thank you for watching my freaking stream. Damn, bro, I just did him dirty right there. Oh my god. That was actually kind of nasty. These dudes are kind of getting bodied now. Kind of goes hard. It goes really hard, actually. That dude scared me. There you go. Nuke on red card. So what's up, guys? It's here by Nino Quadji, and welcome back to another banger video on Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Multiplayer Season 1. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys my Season 1 Black Ops 6 settings, and people always ask for them every single season / every update. You know, here are what controller settings you use, what's your sensitivity, how are your graphics, what's your PC settings, audio settings. So all of that is going to be included here on both my console, which I play on a PS5 Pro at times, and my PC settings, so that you can apply these settings to whatever type of player you are. If you play on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, these settings will help improve your aim, your movement, your visibility, the sounds that you can hear, because there's some amazing audio settings on this game, and much more. This video will pretty much help you entirely if you're new to Call of Duty, or if you just wanted to see how I play the game to the maximum extent. So you guys excited to see everything that encapsulates my settings here within Black Ops 6 Multiplayer, and you guys want to try some of them out? Make sure you guys drop a like in the video, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. If you're new to the channel, I upload Black Ops 6 gameplay here, considering of nukes, tips and tricks, settings videos, whatever the case may be. So if you enjoy the hybrid that I am in terms of information and entertainment value on all of my videos, definitely do subscribe, as we're on the road to 250,000 subscribers for the Black Ops 6 here. And I'm sure you'd like to watch more of my videos. Trust. Let's go ahead and start things off with my controller settings here. So when it comes to the button layout, I'm playing on bumper, jumper, tactical, flipped. And just one note to also, because people are going to ask about this, do the swap L1, R1 with L2, R2 first, because I do aim in and shoot with R1 instead of L2 and R2. It just feels better for me as a PlayStation player. And if you're on console, this might say like L2 bumper jumper or something. Make sure it's gonna have a different name on console, but just know if you have it in the sense that my controller looks like here, then you have it. And the reason why I play on bumper jumper tactical flipped as opposed to regular tactical, stick and move is also pretty good, is because it helps transform my PlayStation 4 controller, which I use here on PC, into a special controller. It allows me to jump with L2, slide, dive, or whatever, use the on movement more smoothly with R3. I sim shot with X, so it really does help encapsulate the controller to the maximum extent, where I don't need to use special paddles or buttons on the back of my controller like any of those other controllers that you guys might end up getting. And this is so you use the least amount of money on your controller and you're still able to pull off all those amazing movements. I've been playing this way for now 10 years, basically since Black Ops 3 back in 2015, and it's allowed me to jump shot, you know, move around the map a lot more efficiently. And with Black Ops 6, I've been able to just pull off omni movement tricks with a lot of ease. Now, it might take you some time to master, but I'm telling you, if you master these controller settings, you will become a master of the movement, and it'll help you a ton. Also, if you're wondering what this little control stick is here, it's Control Freak, the Vortex one, Orange Vortex one, or CQB. You can use code HERO at controlfreak.com for a nice little discount if you're interested in the Control Freak. Just helps me aim a little bit better. Next up, stick layout presets. Default horizontal and vertical stick sensitivities are going to be on 9 and 9. You could obviously put this all the way low, you know, to 1 and 1, which is going to help you aim really well, but it's going to be hard for you to turn on people. But the opposite could be true. You could also put it at like 20/20, or in this case 18/19 or whatever, and you'll be able to turn on people very easily, but your aim might not be the best. So in my opinion, having it right in the middle of 8/8 or 9/9 is like perfect. That way you can retain the ability to turn on people very easily, but also have great accuracy, especially across range. Everything else here, you just can leave on off. You don't really need to mess with all these settings. Controller vibration is going to be off, just the way I like to play. and you know, I don't have vibration on, so I don't really, you know, judge the intensity or whatever. And now when it comes to our dead zone inputs, I have my left stick min on 0, and the only reason for this is because I had an older controller and it was probably messed up at that point, but it was preventing me from like sliding and running for this game for a minute. So in truth and in actuality, when it comes to testing your dead zones, you should turn it on. And when it comes to the percentages on the left stick and the right stick, as you can see on my left stick, there's some percentages that I need to take care of. So in order to take care of that, I just got to raise it by a little bit. I'm gonna do 4 or 5 to be safe here. And then when we test it again, now that you can see it's stuck at 0%, which is what you want. You don't want any stick drift. You want to be able to be as precise as accurate and possible so that you can obviously body your opponents. And when it comes to my left trigger and right trigger dead zones, they're 24 and 56. With the left trigger, you know, I don't use it to aim. I use it to jump. So I don't want to be accidentally jumping. So that's why I have it high. But if you use the left trigger to aim, keep it at 0. That's going to make it super responsive for when it comes to aiming. And then same thing with the right trigger. If you use it to shoot, then make sure that it's 0 so you can shoot automatically or as quick as possible. For me, this is the trigger that I use to throw my grenades or whatever. And I obviously don't want to be throwing grenades accidentally, so I keep it kind of high just for that reason. But now moving on to the aiming settings here, we got sensitivity multiplier. You know, all at 1 here, nothing to really explain there. Aim advanced settings, look conversions, all going to be standard here. ADS sensitivity transition timing, make sure this is on instant, allows it to be instant with the aim. Third person APDS correction type, assist. Aim response curve type, I have it on dynamic. Now, you can use standard linear, but dynamic has been the aim response curve type that gives you the most sticky aim, and it's what pros use as well and have been using since Modern Warfare 2019. And don't mess with the curve slope scale, because if you mess with it, you might mess up the stickiness. But at the end of the day, if you feel better with linear or standard, then you can use those. But dynamic is just technically the best, and it's felt the best to me. Custom sensitivity per zoom is going to be on, and we have 0.9, 0.9, 0.9 on low zoom through 5x zoom. This allows us to be even more accurate when zooming with a lower zoom optic. But when it comes to the 6x through the high zoom optics, we have it at 1.20 because those optics are a little bit more sluggish, and I want to be able to rotate my zoom or my optic as much as possible to keep track of my opponents. Going on to target aim assist, we have that on. Motion sensitive behavior and motion sensitive advanced settings, that's more like the gyro stuff. We don't really mess with that. Going over to movement, we got sprint assist on. And this is actually the first year I actually have sprint assist. Now you can do tactical sprint assist. I usually have this off in like every Call of Duty, but for this one, the Omni movement is so powerful and so nice to have that you're able to sprint sideways, backwards, to the right, to the left. I think having it on is the best way to go. As much as I want to be in full control of my character, allowing myself to be automatically sprinting is really, really nice. Now, I don't recommend tactical sprint assist, but at least having sprint assist on is going to help you majorly in pulling off some clutch plays with the Omni movement in this game. Mantle assist, I have that on off. Everything else here is off. And then mantle assist angle, I have that on tight, so you don't accidentally mantle on, you know, a little bit of objects. Crouch assist is going to be off, and then all this is off here. Corner slicing, if you don't like when your gun like leans or whatever, you can turn this off. Some people are annoyed by that. I don't really mind it. I feel like it's really nice and beneficial, so I keep it on. Slide / dive behavior. We have this on tap to slide. It's just the best way I feel like to not only slide, but also dive whenever I need to. But if you really master hybrid, you could become a master of like sliding and diving. And at least with tap to slide, you could set the slide / dive activation delay to short instead of medium or long. That way the controller is a lot more responsive to your slides or your dives. And I really recommend changing that setting. It comes a long way. All this here is kind of a, you know, personal preference here. Slide, maintain, sprint on. All these kind of like the same. Movement advanced settings, we got all this off. Auto move forward, it's not like automatic sprint. I don't really recommend having it on. You want to be in full control of your character. Everything else here you guys can just kind of copy. I think I left on default. And in vehicle advanced settings, you guys can just take a look at that. You don't really change anything there. Combat, when it comes to all of these, it's all kind of like default stuff. Armor plate behavior, apply all if you're playing Warzone instead of apply one. It really does go a long way. Combat advanced settings over here, interact / reload behavior is the only one you should really like prioritize here. If you're playing multiplayer, I recommend tap to reload. But if you're playing Warzone, then switch it to prioritize interact. If you switch to prioritize interact, all you gotta do is tap the square button or the X button, whatever you use on Xbox, to pick up the loot instead of holding square or X. So you're gonna be able to loot faster and thus be more responsive to your gameplay. So whenever I play Warzone, I do prioritize interact. When I'm playing multiplayer, tap to reload is the best way to go. Overlay advanced settings, nothing to really change here. But yeah, that's it for our controller settings. So now let's head over to our PC graphics settings and then our console graphics settings. So when it comes to the PC graphics settings here, if you guys are curious about my specs, I got a 3080 Ti And I guess I'll put the specs on screen if I remember to tell my editor to do that. Nothing too crazy. I play on a 1440p monitor at 144 hertz, and you know, whatever your settings are is whatever happens to you. NVIDIA reflex low latency, I recommend having this on, not on off, not on plus boost. You could try those and see if it works for you, but for the most part, most PCs do work better on just on. Eco mode preset, I have it on custom. All of this is all personal preference. Custom frame limit, there you guys go, in case you guys are curious about that. Everything else here doesn't really matter. Going over to quality now, I have my render resolution at 90, and the reason for this is because I want to maximize the frames while still being able to look at the game as nicely as possible. Now, I play on 1440p, so the game is not going to look ugly at all. So having it at 90 is very beneficial to me, but if you're on like 1080p monitor or whatever, try to keep this at 100 so the game looks as nice as possible. You can actually like locate your opponents. With me having it at 90, not only am I going to be in between 1080 and 1400 or 1440p, so the game still looks really nice, but also I'm gonna get a little bit more frames. I stream and record everything on the same PC, so I'm gonna have low frames anyways, so trying to maximize my frames, especially with a very intensive load, is gonna help me a ton. Going on over to upscaling / sharpening, I do a Fidelity FX cast. You can copy all the settings here. The cast strength here I have is at 90. Everything else doesn't really matter because I have Fidelity FX cast. All this is personal preference here. For the revamp Skeletor, you put this up to 90 if you feel like your PC is having problems, but 80 should be pretty good. And then for the rest of these here, we got texture resolution at low, texture filter anisotropic actually should be at normal, but I have it on high, I guess just to make the game look nice for you guys. Depth field should be off, detail quality low, particle resolution could be normal, low, or very low, up to you. Bullet impacts, persistent effects on, shutter quality low, on-demand text streaming minimal, so that I don't take up too much internet. And as you can see, we put the limits all the way to the lowest, so that really you don't get affected, or I don't get affected by any sort of texture streaming quality. But of course, you can put on optimize if you don't care about that. Local texture streaming quality low, shadow quality very low, SSS off, screen space reflections normal, SSR off, static reflection quality low, tessellation off, volumetric quality low, deferred physics quality off, weather grid volumes low, and water quality at wave wetness. Now going on over to the field of view here, or the view settings, I always max out my FOV at 120. The reason I do this is because I'm able to see as much of the screen as possible, and thus I'm able to locate targets or see any enemies and, you know, make the right plays in that, you know, certain situation. Now, when it comes to ADS field of view, a lot of people are going to play on affected, which is nice. It keeps the 120 FOV even when you ADS, allowing you to kind of see the opponents, you know, at a farther distance, even when you're ADSing. But I switched to independent, and the reason why I do independent is because when I ADS, it turns into like a 80 FOV, if I'm not mistaken. Which you guys might be wondering, Hero, you're going to be seeing less of the screen when you're ADSing. Why you're doing that? Well, logically, when you're ADSing, you're focusing in on something. You're not focused on everything else around you. You're focused in on whatever's in front of you or whatever you're trying to aim at. So this is going to make everything look bigger to you whenever you ADS, and thus you're going to be able to hit your opponents, you're going to be able to track them better, and that's why I do recommend independent over affected. Now you could rock with affected and go crazy, but independent to me just makes more sense because I still have that 80 FOV when I aim in, and I have that 120 FOV when I'm not aimed in. So I have the best of both worlds, if that makes any sense. Up to you, that's just my reasoning for that. Weapon field of view is going to be wide, so our gun is as small as possible. We can see more of the screen. Third person field of view, same thing as, you know, regular field of view, you know, up to max. Vehicle field of view wide, so the car is as small as possible, and we see the rest of the screen as clear as possible. Now, world motion blur and weapon motion blur. Have both of these off, please. If you have them on, especially the world motion blur, when the world is blurry, and you're turning a corner, the character or the enemies might look a little bit blurry. You might see something in the window, but you don't know if it's an enemy or not until the blurriness is stopped. This is not good to have blurriness in the competitive FPS if you're trying to get better. First person and third person camera movements should both be at least 50%. Do not have it 100% because then there's too much shakiness there. And third person ADS transition timing and inverted flashbang are basically personal preference. But that's pretty much our PC graphics settings. Now I'm going to hop on my PS5 Pro and show you guys my console graphics settings. So here we are on my PS5 Pro graphics settings for console, and you can apply some of these settings towards your PS4, Xbox consoles, or whatever the case is. So if you have the means to do so, the 120 Hz refresh rate should be on. This allows you to have double the frames of 60 FPS having 120 FPS. This allows you to be a lot more competitive within Black Ops 6 multiplayer. For the rest of this, eco mode preset is going to be off. Don't really need to have anything with that on. Quality settings, world motion blur, weapon motion blur should both be off. Depth field off. Fidelity FX cast on, and I have it at 90. If you want in-depth explanations of these, just go to the PC section. On-demand texture streaming, I have it on optimized, but if you wanted to have the least amount of texture streaming, especially if you don't have the best internet, leave it on minimal, and then you do want to change this to small. And when it comes to the view here, Field of view should be 120, just like my max FOV. If you want an in-depth explanation, I covered everything here in the PC section. ADS field of view independent, weapon field of view wide, third-person field of view 90, vehicle field of view wide, and then first-person, third-person camera movement at least 50%. Don't have it at 100. And then everything else is optional here. And before we go back on our PC, I do want to cover the audio real quick on console. I highly recommend this enhanced headphone audio. You don't need to do the whole personalized profile or anything. Just click on this. It legit helps your console audio a ton. On PC, I don't believe I have this on and haven't experimented with it on, but whenever I play on my PS5 Pro, having this on was a real game changer. Now here we are back on our PC, and we're gonna be showing off the audio settings on my PC here. Now, when it comes to master game volume, you should have this maxed out so you could really hear everything in this game, and this game has some amazing audio. When it comes to the gameplay musical volume, we got to add 0, just because we're not trying to hear any music so that we can focus in on like various sound effects. Dialogue volumes at 44 because the characters in this game are very expressive. They'll call out when they see an enemy, and I might not see the enemy, and they call out like very constantly. When you aim at a UAV or like counter UAV, they identify it as a UAV or counter UAV. The dialogue in this game is very well made, and so more than ever I do recommend hearing the dialogue of the characters or whatever the case is. Effects volume should be all the way at 100, and especially this year because it feels like you can hear everything. You can hear obviously footsteps, you hear windows breaking, you can hear somebody stim shotting. Literally, you can hear somebody reloading. They really went in depth with the audio. So having this all the way maxed out, you'll be able to hear all these various things that your opponents might be doing and thus locate them. And it's very easy to locate opponents here with this right volume settings. Cinematic music volume doesn't matter. You can keep that at whatever you want. This is all, you know, my personal PC stuff. Now, enhanced headphone mode. I've yet to use this on my PC, but you guys might have seen it already on my console, you know, little graphic setting portion. On console, I used it on my PS5 Pro, and it was nice. I already feel the audio is amazing on PC, so I haven't used this yet. But if you guys want me to make a future video trying this out on my PC and see if it really makes a difference, I'm definitely down to, because honestly, I could easily tell the difference on my PS5 Pro. I just feel like on PC, I already hear everything, so why would I need to enhance that? But you could try it out, and I think it will help you at the end of the day, especially if you're on console. Like, the audio just from this on PS5 Pro is crazy. But I'll probably try it out in the future and let you guys know if it's a necessity or if it's like pay to win or whatever. You don't have to do the second one, the headphone mode configuration, because it's like 20 bucks. Just the regular enhanced headphone mode is free, and it actually does help the game a ton for you. Audio mix, Sucker Punch. No matter if you're on PC or console or whatever, Sucker Punch is the best way to go. Allows you to hear everything to the max. Mono audio off, everything else here is pretty much you know, personal preference. I guess I should mute licensed music so I don't get copyrighted while making YouTube videos. And then everything else here is personal preference. Now let's move on to our interface settings, or our HUD settings. So when it comes to it, here we have the global settings. Nothing here too important that I really got to talk about. When it comes to telemetry, we got it so that we can see our FPS, our server latency, and our packet loss. So basically we can see how our frames are doing and whether the lobby is laggy or not. Everything else here is kind of personal preference. When it comes to subtitles, if I wasn't a content creator, I definitely have them on for multiplayer. But even then, just hearing the audio cues within this game, it's really well done. But being able to read some of the cues is also really nice too. Only reason I don't have it on is because I feel like it's gonna make the video too busy with the subtitles and make the videos look ugly. That's the only reason I don't run subtitles nowadays. Now going over to the HUD settings. Now when it comes to the HUD presets, one of the HUDs that I highly recommend is magnified. It boosts everything to the screen to max. You get to see the mini-map as big as possible, and this allows you to really be able to take advantage of the mini-map, as well as other things that just become easier for you to kind of handle. Visuals, we got the square mini-map going on. Radar, you should not turn on the radar. I made a mistake on my last settings video telling you to put that on. Just leave it on off. Mini-map rotation on. Horizontal compass instead of mini-map compass is better, and everything else here is pretty much personal preference. You can even change the visibility of the stuff on the HUD for you custom made, so you can have like nothing be opaque or too visible to you. And obviously you can change the colors around. I haven't really changed the colors around. Don't really feel like I need to do that because the game looks nice enough, at least on my screen. Kind of already went through that with some of these settings that we just talked about. When it comes to the crosshair here, now I put on static, but you can also put center dot. I think static is the best way to go though, because you can also put a crosshair dot and put it on, and then the center dot can be on largest. So you have the best of both worlds, and then crosshair spread on, and then you can even change the crosshair color. Some people like putting this on like yellow or purple or whatever the case is. I just left it on white. I don't think it makes too much of a difference, but it's up to you if you want to change that. And that's pretty much it here. Let me know what you guys think about my best settings here for Black Ops 6 as of Season 1. I know it's a little bit of a longer video, but there's so many great settings here that I needed to highlight, and I really hope you guys take the best of these settings, you know, change them to modify your own needs and preferences. If you guys end up using these settings and find success, or you just find some way to play the game better, or you just were kind of curious as to how I run the game, make sure you guys drop a like in the video, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. It takes a lot of time to get these videos out there, and I just want to say thank you for watching the whole way through. I'm gonna be streaming a ton of Season 1 over on my Twitch at twitch.tv/MarkOverHero, and also subscribe to my second channel, More Hero. We're gonna be seeing some Warzone content from me, because here on the main channel we got multiplayer. For the second channel, Warzone's gonna be our main game. Anyways, I love you all.